came in initially as an explosion. We do know at this point there are 2 confirmed fatalities.
Tonight, tragedy in Colorado where a plane crash has claimed 2 lives. Good evening. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Crystal Bailey. This morning's crash involved a single-engine 6-seater aircraft. The plane went down just south of Centennial Airport outside of Denver. It was engulfed in flames as first responders arrived to the scene. The wreckage was in a driveway between a warehouse and a bank of generators. Firefighters managed to keep flames from spreading. Air traffic control audio includes the pilot telling the tower he planned to do stop and goes just moments before the crash. Those are commonly done to practice landing and taking off.
It is very early in the investigation, and that will all be part of the investigation. The NTSB will be conducting that. It could take several weeks or months. At this point, we do know the weather in the area was just lightly spitting rain, as it was described to me.
The victims are not yet identified. Investigators expect to release a report on the likely cause of that crash within 30 days. That crash comes just days after another fatal plane crash in Colorado where 1 person was killed Sunday. That's when 2 small planes collided midair northeast of Denver. 3 other people were injured. The cause of that crash remains under investigation as well. And tonight, aviation experts gather to discuss air travel safety. Fox's Mike Emanuel reports they're making plans to modernize the air traffic control system.
Aviation experts discussed safety in the skies Friday. Topics like flight volume, staffing, and modernizing systems came up. Top of mind was the deadly mid-air collision of Flight 5342. This video from EarthCam shows the shocking moment in the air.
Aviation, oftentimes rules and regulations sadly are written in blood.
Matthew Collins, whose brother died in the January crash, was in attendance.
How do we honor these 67 people? And how do we prevent something like this from ever happening again? We want to see change.
Part of that change is coming with a brand new air traffic control system. Congress recently passed a bill that includes $12.5 billion to modernize the system.
We need a leapfrog where we are today to make sure that what we design is going to, as I said earlier, is going to accommodate the future.
Still, the FAA says it's in need of more manpower, specifically air traffic controllers. They plan to hire about 2,000 new recruits in 2025.
We're focusing, making sure that the FAA is focusing on a fully staffed and trained internal workforce.
Lawmakers also asked the FAA to review the total flight volume this year.
And if flight volume is found to be untenable, we want to call on the FAA to reduce those flight volumes.
Overall, keeping passengers safe in the air is going to be a group effort.
Every time we board a plane, we have to trust that we built a system that's going to get us there.
The NTSB still has to file its final report on the mid-air collision of American Eagle Flight 5342. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
A former Alaska Airlines pilot from the Bay Area entered plea deals in Oregon to charges of interfering with a flight. Prosecutors say 46-year-old Joseph David Emerson was off duty riding in a cockpit jump seat on a Horizon Airlines plane in 2023 when he tried to turn off the plane's fuel mid-flight. Emerson pleaded no contest to a state charge of reckless endangerment of an aircraft and was sentenced to 50 days in jail. He also pleaded guilty in federal court to interfering with the flight crew and could receive up to a year in prison. Emerson told police he had taken psychedelic mushrooms 2 days earlier. And FBI agents believe a man suspected of attacking an ICE facility in Georgia may be hiding out in Oregon. They're offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest of Ronald Watson. They say Watson used cinder blocks, Molotov cocktails, and other materials to cause more than $78,000 in damage to an ICE facility in Atlanta. He's believed to be in the Portland area. Agents consider Watson to be armed and dangerous. If you see him, you're urged to contact the FBI. In another immigration crackdown, the Trump administration is investigating Medicaid spending on immigrants in left-leaning states. The administration is looking into spending in at least 6 Democrat-run states, including California, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, and Minnesota, which provide comprehensive health coverage to low-income and disabled immigrants living in the U.S. with permanent legal status. The White House says this probe is to ensure there is no waste, fraud, or abuse of the Medicaid system. Some of these states have already cut down Medicaid programs for immigrants due to those costs. An immigrant rights group is tracking ICE agents in order to send out warnings of pending raids in Southern California. Members of the Union del Barrio group are standing watch on Los Angeles area highways and gathering near ICE staging areas. It's all in order to tail agents' vehicles, as well as get their descriptions and send alerts.
We're trying to create a listing of all the types of vehicles they're using. License plates, license plate numbers, description of, again, make, model, directions they're going, right? Where they came off of, where they headed. And we're trying to document it.
Now, several legal experts say surveillance of ICE agents is legal and protected under the U.S. Constitution as long as activists do not interfere with ICE agents' lawful activities. Now, a new round of storms caused minor flooding in parts of Arizona today. Images posted online show some of that water rushing down streets in Mojave County near the Arizona-California border. Now, we have no reports of widespread damage from this morning's storms. And Arizona's recent series of back-to-back storms has roofers scrambling to keep up with requests for help. Homeowners want to get repairs made before the next storm rolls in. Now, one roofer working outside Phoenix says he's scheduling more than a dozen appointments to evaluate damage every day.
We're doing about, me personally, maybe 15 a day. Our company, I would say 40 to 60 roofers in Arizona, hundreds and hundreds.
Now, that roofer's advice to homeowners is do not put off making small roof repairs. He says those small issues can turn into bigger problems if they're not addressed early. Now, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez. She's here to tell us whether those storms are expected even later in this forecast this weekend.
Yeah,
Roberta?
but if I could back up a little bit, Crystal, remember when we in the Bay Area had the big windstorm a couple of years back and all the trees were blown over and you couldn't find a tree trimmer to come on out? Remember that? That was crazy stuff there. That was in the San Francisco Bay Area. What we're talking about now is all the flooding that has been happening around the Arizona area, and all this activity is beginning to settle now at nightfall. Just some lingering precipitation around the Tucson area, but no flooding has been reported. Then we head to California. We're around I-40 here as you head into the Needles area. We've been picking up some monsoonal moisture, 16/100ths of an inch of rain today. And Needles at 98 degrees. Meanwhile, we head on up towards the Bishop area where they too have some rain showers right here, right now after a high temperature of 93 degrees and a little bit of activity offshore. That's all associated with this right here. This cluster that's disintegrating before it bangs up against that northwestern quadrant of the state of California. This is kind of like on the tail end of this area of low pressure that's well established up to the north. We'll talk more about that, but first things first, look at that big, beautiful cumulus cloud over the Phoenix area today at 97 degrees. That was the official high. Typically this time of the year, the historical average is 104 degrees. Meanwhile, let's head to Santa Monica, where the temperature there today was 75, but 11 miles inland in Los Angeles, 88 degrees. That's above the average of 85 degrees. Meanwhile, this is San Francisco. This is the estuary here. And this is Oakland, where today's high temperature was 67 degrees, and that's spot on for this Friday, September 5th. Now we take you to Seattle, Washington, 77 degrees, average high is 83. So you came in a little bit below average, all due to that deck of cloudiness overhead. Currently 86 degrees in Reno. It's in the mid and high 80s around Las Vegas as well. 94 degrees in Phoenix. It's dipped to the mid 50s, kind of coolish, autumn-like in Denver, and 85 degrees still in Boise. Okay, let's talk about it. Fog bank returns to the entire state of California, hangs tight until about mid-morning hours. Meanwhile, upstream, this area of low pressure, that wants to nick the extreme northwestern section of the state of California by Monday, bringing some rain showers up to about Mendocino County, but leaving the Bay Area with just a slight chance of rain. So here we go with your extended forecast. We have temperatures taking a nosedive to the north and the Pacific Northwest. Around the Bay Area, looks like slightly above normal. Los Angeles, spot on for this time of the year, warming back up in Phoenix, and a decent looking weekend in Denver. Crystal?
All right, thank you, Roberta. Tonight, a first for Arizona in crime fighting. See how people are calling for the banishment of some criminals. And a convenience store known for its good luck charms attracts Powerball players going for $1.8 billion.
Gotta play. If you don't have a chance. If you do, you might you might get lucky.
Well, football fans are going to pack Lumen Field this weekend. This is a live look at the Seattle Seahawks home turf, where they will open their regular season against the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. Seahawks plan to have undercover officers working home games this season. They'll wear opposing teams' jerseys, looking for anyone who isn't following the fan code of conduct. They're working with staff at Lumen Field to address issues with unruly, disruptive, or illegal behavior. And the Rams are the only NFC West team opening their season at home this weekend. They'll face the Texans Sunday at SoFi Stadium. No AFC West teams play at home this weekend, but the Los Angeles Chargers are considered the home team at tonight's matchup against the Chiefs in Brazil. Moving the game to Brazil is part of the NFL's effort to expand its global presence. And people across the West are lining up to play Powerball tickets. Now, they want to play the game because there's, of course, $1.8 billion in the jackpot. This is the second largest in history. Fox 11's Mario Ramirez spoke with players running the rituals and they hope to get a little extra good luck.
Good morning to everybody, and thank you for coming to Bluebird. I wish you guys luck.
More than $6 million has been won here at Bluebird Liquor in just the last year. And the line, it's gotten even longer, now stretching around the building into the parking lot. And these people are all hopefuls, hoping that they'll be the next winner.
You got to play. If you don't have a chance. If you do, you might get lucky.
Eric and Maggie are behind the counter, and they've hardly been able to catch their breath selling these tickets nonstop since they opened, some playing for the first time or the first time in a very long time.
I haven't done it in a long time, and I knew the prize was gigantic, so I'm taking my chance this time.
I play hybrid, meaning I pick my own numbers, then quick picks.
My family will have generational wealth. I'm going to go to Monte Carlo to do some real gambling.
Customers come here to line up for lottery tickets. Inside the store, there's even miniature blue birds they can rub for good luck, part of the tradition here, and they'll need all the luck they can get.
Winner right here, winner.
So a lot of people hoping that they'll be the next big winner. I've got my tickets. I think everybody here can just go home. Winning tickets are here.
Sure.
You're not believing it.
Man, I believe it. That's why I'm here. You know what I mean? I hope I hit so I can make America great again.
Somebody's got to win $2 to play. Good luck. For now, at Bluebird Liquor in Hawthorne, back to you.
Well, you can buy Powerball tickets in all western states except Hawaii, Alaska, Nevada, and Utah. Odds of winning about 1 in 292 million. Now, firefighters in Central California are slowly gaining control of a group of fires sparked by lightning earlier this week. Containment of the TCU September Lightning Complex fire now at 22%. So far, nearly 14,000 acres burned across 4 counties east of Stockton. Now, CAL FIRE says 85 structures were destroyed, and the historic gold mining town of Chinese Camp was also badly damaged. Many of these buildings there date back to the 1850s.
My grandma she designed the school. She had a huge part in the history of this town. She was the town historian, and she used to give people tours and walk them up and down the streets and show them the old historic buildings, and now there's nothing to show them.
Well, several communities remain under evacuation orders. One firefighter was injured but is expected to recover. Now, a Washington state woman pleaded not guilty today to the murder of a U.S. Border Patrol agent. 21-year-old Teresa Youngbloot appeared in court in Burlington, Vermont. She is charged with shooting agent David Milland in Vermont in January. Now, prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty in the case. The woman is a member of a cult-like group of radical computer scientists known as Zizalians. The group is tied to at least 5 other deaths, including 2 in California. A man from Alabama is accused of threatening a monastery in Southern California. Prosecutors say 38-year-old Joshua Michael Richardson sent a threatening email to St. Michael's Abbey in Silverado Canyon. After receiving no response, Richardson is accused of driving from Alabama to California and confronting a priest in their abbey. Now, the Orange County District Attorney says Richardson appears to have a religious fixation.
Attracted to or seems to be compelled to go to churches that are named St. Michael because he believes that he is St. Michael.
Now, sheriff's deputies arrested Richardson in Santa Monica. Investigators recovered a number of items from Richardson's vehicle, including 6 high-capacity magazines, body armor, brass knuckles, and a sword. And some people want to see formal banishment of violent criminals from Arizona's Gila River Indian community. Fox 10's Mark Martinez reports their proposal marks a first for a tribal government in the state.
The Gila River Tribal Council is considering banishment for violent criminal members and has asked for input through a community survey. Gila River has seen a rise in violence in the past year, including the shooting death of police officer Joshua Breeze last summer at an outdoor party. His murder prompted Gila River Governor Stephen Roe Lewis and the council to crack down on crime, setting a curfew in January for minors and a ban on teen dance parties.
We still have a mission to accomplish. We still got a job to do, so we need to take care of that, and I think that's what Officer Breeze would have wanted for us to carry on.
But then in April, tribal elder Karen Peter was brutally killed, dying from complications after she was beaten and raped. 2 juveniles and an adult have been arrested in connection with her murder. Governor Roe Lewis tried lowering the temperature as many members marched in protest against the rise in crime.
Now, these arrests won't bring Ms. Peter back, but we must ensure that all perpetrators are held accountable. We all know that there have been too many incidences of violence lately, and this is not an isolated incident.
Outrage from tribal members reaching a flashpoint this summer.
If we have to do it again, let's do it again without all of this, because all of this didn't care when it was happening.
A packed room peppered the tribal council with comments and questions, stretching a July 12th meeting to 6 hours. Days later, Police Chief Jesse Crabtree was fired.
We can't police our way out of everything. We need partners from the community, from other departments, and things like that.
After an internal review, the tribe said in a statement the decision was made to transition a broader effort to enhance public safety. The council's banishment proposal, a first for Arizona's indigenous tribes, would disenroll members convicted of homicide, aggravated assault, kidnapping, or a violent sexual offense, a major step that many hope will stop the violence.
When are you guys going to get on the ball and start doing this? We have, this needs to be done. We can't go on for another 10 years.
That was Fox 10's Mark Martinez reporting. The community has been asked to provide input on the proposal through a survey. The deadline to participate is September 13th. Well, a first for the country right here in the West. Coming up, why this locomotive's debut could be a glimpse into the future of freight transport. And find out how much money it takes for one Star Wars fans to get their hands on Darth Vader's official lightsaber. Well, stocks were lower on Wall Street as traders took in new evidence that the U.S. job market is slowing. The trend could clear the way for an interest rate cut from the Federal Reserve later this month. The Dow was down 220 points, the Nasdaq slipped 7 points, and the S&P 500 lost 30 points. Now, shares of Santa Clara chipmaker NVIDIA slid nearly 3%, weighing on the market. And President Trump is rebranding the Defense Department. This afternoon, he signed an executive order to make Department of War the secondary title for the DoD. The department was originally known as the Department of War when President George Washington signed it into law in 1789. Now, in 1949, the name was changed to the Defense Department under President Harry Truman. Trump claims the Department of Defense name is, quote, too woke.
I think it sends a message of victory. I think it sends really a message of strength. We're very strong. We're much stronger than anyone would really understand.
The executive order is a way of bypassing Congress to start using the new name without passing any legislation. Now, when asked what the changes will cost, a defense official said the cost will fluctuate, and a clearer estimate will be reported at a later time. And the country's first hydrogen-fueled zero-emission locomotive is making its debut in the West. Fox 40's Juliet Smith spoke with people who think this innovation will be a step toward being less reliant on diesel.
State and local officials celebrated the nation's first hydrogen-fueled zero-emission locomotive in West Sacramento. This locomotive is leading the charge without a drop of gas and putting the brakes on emissions. The mayor of West Sacramento says it's a big day for the community.
It's just going to provide all the way around a healthier community and also, helping with our local economy.
The Sierra Northern Railway CEO says it will replace 10,000 gallons of diesel every year.
The diesel locomotives have been the main operation since about 1945. So this is the first real transition to.
Officials say the Golden State's 260 switcher locomotives consume an average of 50,000 gallons of diesel each per year. Converting them to hydrogen power could cut more than 12 million gallons of diesel usage each year, the equivalent of taking 20,000 cars off the road.
This thing will run for 80 to 100 hours before it needs to be refueled. And compare that to like a battery-operated locomotive that needs to be recharged every day on 4 to 8 hours. Operationally, that's very significant.
Officials say it's not just a prototype. It's a model for the future of freight.
When we do something here in California, the rest of the nation looks and follows. And what the United States and what we're able to do here can be followed around the world cost effectively.
Sacramento City Council member and California Air Resources Board member Eric Guerra was also on hand today and says we should continue to offer more opportunities without compromising the health of those living near rail yards, many of whom are from historically underserved communities.
All of us remember those smoky days with particulates, the emissions, the smog. The fact that we've been able to reduce our smog levels because of working with industry is improving the public health for us here. We need to make sure that our kids have a long, healthy life while growing our economy.
And that was Fox 40's Juliet Smith reporting. 3 more hydrogen-powered locomotives are under construction. The goal is to have all 4 ready by 2027. And it will take millions for someone to claim ownership of a piece of movie history. The lightsaber used by Darth Vader in 2 Star Wars films sold at an auction in Los Angeles last night. Now, the winning bid was $3.65 million. That makes the prop the highest priced Star Wars item ever to be sold at auction. And finally tonight, we're highlighting a historic find inside a library book. A ticket to Super Bowl 11 between the Oakland Raiders and Minnesota Vikings was being used as a bookmark. A volunteer at Inver Glen Library in Inver Glen Heights, Minnesota, discovered the ticket while checking the condition of books. Now, Super Bowl 11, as you might remember, or maybe you don't remember, it was played in 1977 at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. The Raiders defeated the Vikings 32-14. That ticket cost $20. Back in 1977. Really exciting. So thanks for joining us tonight. You can stay up to date on all of the stories we are covering online. You can find those at westcoastrap.com. And you can stream all of our shows on your smart TV by downloading the Fox Local app. Have a good night. We're going to leave you with a picture of Lumen Field in Seattle where the Seahawks will play the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. Happy NFL opening weekend.